Hello, this is Rocketman here, and I'm making a video to kind of summarize or go over uh, the type of investment plan or investment strategy that I'm doing and for the middle term to long term. My personal goal is to turn the current money I have into a lot of money. So maybe let's say within the next 3 to 4 years. That's my personal goal, um, and it's using a kind of a combination of Warren Buffett strategy together with other growth investors who actually have done that in the past, before the 50s and 70s. And another guy, during his lifetime before he died last year. So I follow growth investor strategy. So here I won't go into too much detail on how. That's not what this video is about. I'm not selling anything. I don't care about selling anything. I just do this on my own. I don't really care. Um, I never will want to sell anything in the future. I just want to just be alone and do this because I love to do it. I also won't go over in-depth technical analysis is. I'm not teaching that or fundamental analysis. I'm not going over entry or exit strategies, and I'm also not gonna really touch on risk management. It's also what this video is not about. However, as a rule of thumb, to keep in your mind, whatever I have in my account, what I'm doing is it, splitting the whole total capital into parts, as though I may invest uh, each part into one stock. Sometimes I may take those 10 parts and put and maybe have five into five times two, or maybe half of it in the beginning for half of the part, and put 50% of the other 50% of that of the 1/10 of the part. I'm not sure if that makes sense. So I split into 10 parts. That one of those 10 parts I take and I invest it in one stock, but maybe not the whole part, but maybe just half of it in the beginning if I'm not confident, and then the rest of it if I feel confident in it. But in general of them, split into 10 parts because we may buy 10 stocks at once. Uh, that's just a rule of thumb. Sometimes I only buy four stocks at once and hold it for a year because there's not many good. But as a general rule of thumb, split everything up into 10 parts. It will also lower your risk in trading, and it's a good something. It's something good to start with in the beginning. People always say don't risk more than 1% in your account. Well, this is a good rule of thumb too. It's like splitting everything up into 10 parts and putting one of the parts into one stock. So yeah, go over risk management. You can learn that along the way as you go. It's not important because I'm not day trading or necessarily swing trading. It's a little bit different. So what am I covering? I will cover in this um, um, video an investment plan, my investment plan, general investment strategy, general investment portfolio division. Like how am I dividing it, which I did already. Um, and I'm gonna focus more on big investment figures like Warren Buffett, uh, and Charlie Munger and William O'Neill, and big investment ideas that actually work in the long run from the greats. And this is nothing here about Lamborghinis and martinis, about that at all. It's about solid growth because I retire when I'm early. I don't want to retire when I'm old. So one thing when you're young, if you're probably old enough to know about inflation, basically is money eroding away after time. time goes by. This thing called inflation just destroys your cash. So if you put on Google inflation over 50 years, we can see during from 1960 until 2022, the inflation rate it's about 3.8%. Some just say 3%. Just basically before I Googled it, I always say 3%. Um, but here it says 3.8%. That's a lot. But here you can see for November 2023, the year-over-year inflation rate was 3.14%. Yeah, so let's just say 3% because that's the figure that everyone uses. They don't say 3.8%, but that's pretty big. I didn't know that before I Googled it. Yeah, but most people just say 3%. Let's just say 3%. Um, so your money is whatever you have in your bank, your money is eroding away um, over time. So I think it has to. So your $100 in 1960, right? Whatever item cost that much back then, $100, will cost actually taking inflation into account will cost 1,000 about $1,000. So that's terrible. Especially if you have $1 in your hand, your you're just getting poor as you just sit and do nothing. Maybe if you're just working, you just slowly you can't pass anything on to your children, even if you have a lot of money banking and left it there for 50 years. So it's 2-1. When I invest, keep in mind I want to beat inflation. I know that over time, my money just dies. You know? So if you what I'm doing here in this video, I'm looking at two different um, investment portfolio divisions, right? So side you see here is if you have under $1 million, and on the right side is if $3 million, right? $3 million and up. So on the where most of us are, uh, I'm focused on. You can see the graph. The pie is divided into three parts: growth investing, dividend investing, and a Warren Buffett style investing. And if it's under $1 million, the way I'm going to focus on is more on growth, a growth methodology, a growth method, and a growth philosophy, while incorporating a little bit of dividend and investment and a little bit of Buffett um, um, philosophy into the strategy. But overall, the philosophy also mainly focuses on growth and a Darvas mentality and an William O'Neill mentality. These are the three greats: Buffett, Darvas, and O'Neill. Darvas is the father of the growth strategy, one of the growth strategy, and O'Neill. And there's a name. People will argue that it's Buckus, another guy. But for our purposes and the strategy I'm following is Darvis and O'Neill, and these people made millions of dollars from a small $10,000 account to a $20,000 account. So we're just replicating their results. Um, However, over time, as you get to $3 million and up, um, we're going to take this investment portfolio division and change this up around. Now, uh, we will split the $3 million into three parts. We're going to focus $1 million on dividend growth investing, right? Um, we don't really care about capital appreciation of the price of the stock or investment, but mainly focus on the dividend, the income generation of it, so you can just live off of it. Another $1 million of the $3 million will be focused on a Buffett style investing method, where we're looking at a 20-year horizon, something that we can buy and hold for the long term. And sometimes they will have a dividend, but it's not too focused on dividends. But it may have a dividend. And if there are dividends, it's automatically reinvested. So it's, here you kind of passing you can pass this down to kids, if you have kids, if you decide to have kids, and of course we keep the growth. We take the other last $1 million and put it into growth again. The uh, growth strategy again, our philosophy here. That's when we get to 3 million and above. But before that, we're heavily focused on growth. We're young, and we want to get to. We're young and we're poor, and we want to get to $1 million. If we have under $10 million, we're poor. I don't care. We're poor because yeah, you'll see later. There's a guy who turned back in his 60s, 70s. He turned his $10,000 into $2 million, right? But if you factor in inflation, that $2 million is actually $10 million today. It's so we're poor. We have under $10 million, which is nothing. So yeah, we're anyway. So we're focused on this here until we get to 3 million. Now, why Buffett? Why am I following Buffett's philosophy? Because it works. Uh, Buffett is heavy on indexing. For people who don't know how to invest, for people who don't have time to invest, and for people who don't want to go into the nitty gritty, they just want to put their money in the market and somewhere safe and let it grow over time. Those are the not so savvy investors, the bulk of the population. And if you just want to blindly buy the stock market and let it grow regardless of the price or regardless if there's a crash or not, you can do what is called, or I'm doing is what is called indexing. So what is indexing? A lot of investment advisors will tell you to, they will take your money, and some people who manage your money will put their normal clients' money in a broad index that represents the whole entire stock market. And then you better automatically or tell them to reinvest your dividends automatically. That's a go. And by the time you're like 40 years old or something, you will have $1 million. So what they do is basically they just buy the entire stock market and they put it in stuff like SPY, QQQ, JEPI, EIC, and they reinvest the dividends over and over again. And basically it looks something like this. Where is it? Let's say you start out with $15,000, and you tell you and you have a quarterly dividend and it's invested automatically. That's what DRIP, drip investing is. Drip is automatic reinvestment of the dividends. And then every year you put in $6,000. So that's like $5,000. That's $500 per month. Of course, if it's $200 per month, you don't have that much money. You only have $200 per month. Then that's like I think shoot 200 like 12 uh, uh, it's less than $6,000. My mind is not here right now. So yeah, so if you put in just $200 per month, that's about $2,400 annual contribution. But we're just gonna here make it say 500 per month in the index. You have a 600 contribution. Dividend tax rate is about 15% because you're holding it for over a year or more and maybe 40 years. And your annual dividend right now, the S&P 500 pays about 1.8% annual dividend. It increases every year, and also you get capital appreciation. The stock market for over 100 years has appreciated for about 7% per year, and you are invested for as long as you're working. That's what indexing is. And you can see from the 1800s, this is the U.S. stock market. It just goes in one direction. We had wars. You can see all the wars, all the recessions we had here. And it just keeps going because funds and mutual funds always put their money in. A lot of people find excuses of why they don't want to invest in stock. Then what they do is they gamble. They Bitcoin. They go to penny stocks. They go to tiny time frames and ignore the big super trends, the economic trends that we have in the U.S. What we can see here for 100 years, it's just been going up. Um, so, like I said before, it pays about a 1.3% annual dividend, and it grows. It grows about 7% right here. About if well, actually 10%, 10.56% on average. But if you factor in inflation, you subtract 3% from that. That's about 7.4%, and that's what I have here, about 7.4% uh, annual share price appreciation year over year. So you put that in 4 years, and this is the result. You're gonna get a ending balance of $1,850,000 approximately, right? So that's how much you will have in this scenario after 40 years of working hard. You're working hard in the job, and you're putting your money in the stock market. And actually, after you take profit, and so you close every position and then add that whole thing back in. This is actually what change. Yeah, let's say you're 1,853,179. Uh, your dividend paycheck will be about 34,000 per year. So this is actually not accurate. So so you can live off your dividend. Plus, you get your Social Security and whatever retirement stuff they have in the future. That's basically how it's supposed to work, right? For the long term, and that's what Buffett's talking about. You literally can, um, index. If you don't know how to invest in stocks, you can just do indexing and just put your money in blindly, whether the price is going up or down. And look, look. Let's say it was a dollar. If you put $1 in the S&P 500, it doesn't matter what president it is. That $1 here, back in the 1800s, today would just be about $10,000, right? So it doesn't matter. Johnson, Kennedy, Truman, Republican, Democrat, it doesn't matter. Clinton, Bush, it goes in one direction. Like I said before, presidents are just puppets when it comes to the stock market. It doesn't matter. Just because Trump is president or Obama is president or Bush or Clinton is president, oh, I'm not going to invest in stock. No, you just keep investing, ignore presidents, and just keep going with the money. Is the money always going to go in the stock market, whether there's a crash or a boom? Right. Yeah, so let's skip that. So from this here, unfortunately, if we had, a lot of people, maybe you're the first generation investing in stocks. Or maybe our parents didn't have didn't have the knowledge or the opportunity to do this. But if you're watching this video, you have the ability to learn about how to do this, and for yourself and for your family, future family, if you don't have one. Um, so from this, we see that the poor grow poor because what do they do? They work, they save, and they beg the government to increase their wages while inflation destroys their power. And we see that the poor grow rich because they work hard or work smart or whatever, I don't know, remote job, whoever, and they keep investing their savings in a US index fund for many, many years. And this defeats inflation. That's the essence of this here, right? That's another reason why the rich get richer and the poor gets poor. The poor generally don't invest their money, and then when they try to do it, what do? They gamble, they go into forex, they go into day trading and all these weird stuff that's not time tested. They want the quick money. Um, so another problem is, with this strategy here, with this like Warren Buffett's strategy here, A lot of people say, I don't have the money. Well, small habits, big results, big returns. What do I mean? What do you think about what you buy every day? You go to the vending machine, maybe you buy a snack, you buy a cake, and that costs up. Let's say you buy junk food and it costs $8 per day, right? If you don't buy it, right? If you don't buy junk food, if you minimize your lifestyle, right? And as you save $8 per day, guess what? That's $3,000 per year. You can use $3,000 per year and invest that in the stock index fund, right? So no one had today. If you have $200, maybe you spend some on Netflix and subscription fees and a bunch of stuff. Maybe giving money away. Put that money in and save all that. Put it in the index fund. You know, if you really add up how much you're spending a month on junk and stuff, I had to think about that too. How much am I, spending on junk? Yeah, it's a lot of cake and junk food I'm spending on, and I just cut that out and started realizing that I can actually use the money I have spent on junk to invest in the stock market in the beginning. Another excuse is I gotta get married, or man, I need a girl, my girl needs this or that, or they like going to bars. No, you can just forget about women for now. Well, I know for me, forget about all those things, forget about bars, forget about all that stuff, because if you're a man watching this video, in today's inflationary environment, it is best for men to wait until after 30 and up to look at a lady for dating for marriage. Why? Because at the age of 30 or higher, it's the time when men begin to blossom and make enough money to provide for himself and a family, right? Right now, you don't have a career. You maybe you're in college or you're high school or whatever. You don't have enough money to take care of a family, or get pregnant with a girl, or even to be promiscuous like that. It's a waste of time and a waste of your resources, because you got to maybe take her on a date and pay for all the junk. Right? And the junk here is not $8. The junk is $50, $200 spent on junk. They need. If you just keep to yourself, you don't have to worry about that. You can use all that junk money and put in the market. So anyway, before that age here, 30 and up, you can invest your money in your mind, your body, yourself, learn how to budget, learn about finance. We can go to the gym, we can like kind of focus on ourselves, focus on our job. No big house, no big ticket items like a big house or expensive cars, no flashy things. We just invest and reinvest our dividends automatically. And that, by the time we're 30 and up, 30 or 40, man, we have plenty of time to blossom as a man. For a female, maybe a different story, but you still can do the same thing, right? You still can do the same thing and achieve the similar results, Uh, um, so here, volatility is the friend of a long-term investor. That's what Warren Buffett said. Because the market will fluctuate up and down, right? And if you're just buying blindly, I mean, inadvertently, every month buying blindly at any price, you're gonna inadvertently buy dips. Every what 2 years or so, right? Um, there's a uh, every 2 years there's like a 15% dip here. Every 2 years, every 3.5 years, there's a 20% dip. I haven't seen a 20% dip in a long time, a while. Sometimes this is just the average 3 to 5 years, but 2, 3 years. Before that, every year there's like a 3%, 5%, or 10% correction. This year we've had in 2024 we had a 5% correction. You know, I was hoping for 10% correction that will reset the market. But we're not getting there. We only had a 5% correction so far, and it's April going on May. Okay, so for more savvy investors, right? For more savvy investors, now we're going beyond indexing, right? So indexing is more like a Buffett style or this stuff here. But now we're going to growth. So for more savvy investors, right? Um, you can achieve $1 million, not in 40 years, but in just like 5 years, 5 years, around that time, right? 5 to 7 years, 7 years probably max. So for growth investors, you're outside of indexing. We're using a growth strategy called DARVAS or CANSLIM. And what we're doing is, we're building an investing thesis outside of indexing. That means we're looking at a fundamental strategy. We're looking at why the company is in a great market, a great industry to begin with, and why does this company have good products that give it a competitive advantage over other companies in this space, in their industry, right? And then we look at uh, forward-looking insights. We have that kind of strategy, an investor forward-looking insight strategy. We look at the market sentiment, the broad market sentiment. Is in the bull market? Are we in a bear market? Is the economic boom in or is it bust in? We look at technical analysis, all these things, which I'm not really going to explain in this video here. We look at the individual companies' technical analysis strategy. Those are the things we do when we're going beyond indexing, right? And it increases the money we make in a shorter period of time. So, for example, this is a stock of Louis Vuitton right here, right? And this is very recent here. I said, for example, one investor, one of the greats says, why not invest in what you already consume? So, do you consume Louis Vuitton, Sephora, or you have a girl that does it, right? Or any family that does it? Why not own the stock, right? However, should you own the stock right now? And we look at what we call technical analysis and market sentiment to determine whether uh, whether we should buy right now and what we should buy. Like I said, in this video, I'm not going to go into technical analysis. That's not the point of this video. It's more of a general overview of just investing and the style of investing we're doing and the strategy of the investing that we're doing, but not technical analysis or too deep into it. Yeah, so I just talk about this. It's not a normal, it's not a normal super stock that I look at, right? It consists of a different strategy combined with like a Warren Buffett blend. We're looking for a 3-year growth with this company, yearly EPS, sustainable growth, return on equity. And don't worry if you don't understand this because it does, you don't have to. It's just some thesis I'm building around Louis Vuitton. Um, and you're gonna know how to do this later on, not right now. So it's not important. Here, Facebook, looking at Meta, I build a thesis around it and why I should invest, what price I should get in, and why I should get in. If an entry of a target, and I have an uncle point, a stop loss, a price where I'm just wrong and should get out, right? Um, and for me, again, this even the stop loss is a rule of thumb. Okay, now what do we avoid What do we avoid as, and let me see how long this video is. I may stop it. It's been 28 minutes, so I'm going to stop the video.